Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Kindle TBR. I have my Kindle loaded up with 20 Kindle Unlimited books. That is the maximum you can borrow at a time, and I asked on my Instagram if you would be interested in me going through all the books I have out from KU currently, and it was a resounding 100% yes. So I'm excited to chat about all of these books, but before hopping too far into it, if you're new here, hello, my name is Emily and this is MacInnis Mama, where you will find mostly bookish content with the occasional lifestyle kind of video tossed in here and there. So if you're here just for the books, don't be alarmed if you see a motherhood video or a gardening video pop up on your feed. We will be back to bookish content in the next upload, I can assure you, but I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And I would love to have more Kindle Unlimited content on this channel. I am really loving the subscription. I've had it for almost a year, I believe, and I love watching KU recommendations, KU reading vlogs, etc. So if that is content you're interested in watching, if you also have the Kindle Unlimited subscription, I want to hear from you if you would like more content like that. I have accumulated over 300 KU book recommendations from others. That is like 5 years of reading for me, and that doesn't include sequels or adding new releases or anything like that. So I have a lot of KU books I would like to get to, but I am known for rambling, so let's just hop right in. I am just going to let you know the 20 books that I currently have in my Kindle Unlimited library, a brief synopsis of them. Okay, the Kindle Unlimited book I've had out for the longest and have yet to read is Twisted Love by Ana Huang. This is the first book in the Twisted series, and I am hesitant to start this series, mostly because I cannot read series out of order, even though I know you can, or others can. I can't make myself do it. And I know Twisted Love is not loved by many of the people that I follow, but they love books 2, 3, 4 in the series. So I want to bite the bullet and get started on this series. This is a brother's best friends, or is it Grumpy Sunshine type of romance book, and apparently it has a little bit of a suspense element, which I'm learning that I really love in romance, is when it's like kind of suspenseful or thriller like, as well as like a spicy romance. So I don't know. If you've read it, you'll definitely have to let me know if you enjoyed it. Next, I have A Ruin of Roses by K.F. Breen. This is the first book in the Deliciously Dark Fairy Tales series. So this is a dark and sexy Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't know if this is fantasy romance or just kind of this new thing that's happening, especially on with KU authors, is like more contemporary reimaginings of these fairy tales or Disney characters, movies, etc. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking of like Emily McIntyre, Katie Roberts, these authors that are doing like contemporary settings with human real world people that just have characteristics like those in the fairy tales. I'm not really sure, but I'm interested in finding out. I also have To Bleed a Crystal Bloom by Sarah A. Parker, which is another first book in a series. And this is a fantasy romance that is a dark Rapunzel retelling. If you can't tell, I love retellings, especially if it's a dark fairy tale retelling. I just have a lot of fun with that, and I definitely wanted to try this one with Rapunzel because I feel like we are always getting Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast especially, and it's fun to see some of these other fairy tales be thrown into the mix as well, so I want to see what happens with this. I have The Confidence of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. Michaela, I am so sorry. This is a taboo age gap romance which has very mixed reviews. And I'm a little concerned. I think there are certain content warnings in this book that people have alluded to that will be triggering for me. I don't want to spoil anything in case you haven't heard those things and I haven't read it to know if it is true or not. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but okay, I just scrolled down on Goodreads a little bit and Rachel, or Raven-Haired Reader, someone who I absolutely love on this platform, rated it 1 star. Oh boy. Maybe I don't want to read this. That makes me extremely nervous. The age gap says I'm 18, he's 31. He asks me to nanny his kid for extra money. Next I have Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues. I'm actually planning on reading this in a spooky reading vlog. I'm extending spooky season into November because I feel like I didn't read enough scary books in the month of October, and this one I think is going to scare the pants off of me. This is a paranormal romance. I'm putting heavy quotation marks here, involving sleep paralysis and a demon. I am the biggest wimp on the planet. I think this is gonna absolutely terrify me, give me nightmares, but it's like 150 pages, so I want to give it a try because this was recommended in, was it Love and Other Words did a kind of weird but short romance recommendations kind of video, and also in that she recommended Morning Glory Milking Farm, which I'm going to get, well, let's just scroll up to that right now, by C.M. Nescosta, which is a Minotaur romance where this girl works at the Minotaur milking farm. But it's surprisingly sweet, and it's like less than 200 pages. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but I'm trying to broaden my horizons, okay? And read some weird stuff, some things I actually think I will thoroughly enjoy, but also some shorter things because I'm really trying to hit 100 books read this year, but my goal is 50, so like this is a mega stretch goal. Anyways. Next I have 2 Penelope Douglas books. I was really excited to see that a lot of Penelope Douglas books are on Kindle Unlimited. Versus one I think I'm really going to love is Credence. This is extremely taboo. This girl's father passes away and she is now the guardian of like her step uncle, and she goes to live in this remote cabin in the woods with her step uncle and his 2 sons, but they're not actually related by blood or anything. She didn't even grow up with them, doesn't even like really know them that well, and it is a romance between all of them at some point, apparently. I don't know. I feel so uncomfortable chatting about these like filthy reads on the internet, but here we are. This is me broadening my horizons and reading more smut in 2022. I don't know how I got here, but I'm loving it at the same time. I also have Birthday Girl, which is an age gap romance, I believe. Also taboo because of the age gap. Taboo both because of the age gap, but also it is ex-boyfriend's dad, which feels a little weird, but I'm excited to read it. Moving into some fantasy. First I have a fantasy romance, The Song of the Marked by S.M. Gaither. This is the first book in the Shadows and Crowns series. I want to read this because of Rachel, Raven-Haired Reader. She loved this book. In this world there was a plague that is killing tons of people, but if you do survive it, you are visually or physically marked. You appear faded, and they're wanting to use these people to try and find a cure to the plague, I'm sure, and somehow our main character gets roped in with royalty and adventure, etc., and that just sounds like a really great time. On Instagram I saw from this author, Emily Schneider, her book Scales of Ash and Smoke, and it was one of those reels, you know, where they have like the aesthetic or the vibe of their books. Somehow I got into like, what is it? If it's like book talk, would it be like author talk? Bookstagram, authorgram? No idea. But immediately I was hooked. I was like, who are you? What is this book? Oh look, you're available on Kindle Unlimited. I need to read this. This has fewer than 100 reviews on Goodreads. It has 97 reviews, but it has a 4.02 rating, and it has won a Best Indie Book Award. But I really don't know that much about it. I'll read a little bit of the Goodreads synopsis. It says, she lived her whole life enslaved to the dragons, but now she's one of them. 17-year-old Kada, a human, has spent her entire life enslaved to the dragons who slaughtered half the human population 1,000 years ago. She was forced to serve her ruthless master, Eklos, until one deadly summer day when the Prince of Alicia, no idea, saves her life. Prince Terran steals her away to the royal palace, shocking Kada when he reveals that she is Mutator Formarum. You know when you start a new fantasy series and like the names of the places, the names of the characters, some of these other things in your head, you're like, and then you want to say it out loud and you can't. Anyways, I'm sure this is fantasy romance in some way, and it just sounds really interesting. Something that I don't have checked out from Kindle Unlimited, but I do know is available on Kindle Unlimited, I just bought the ebook, is the 6th series by Samantha March. The 4th book in the 6-part chick lit novella series is about to come out, and they're just a really fun time, less than 200 pages, about a group of girlfriends. It's very contemporary. I just wanted to mention that because I saw it on here, and I do know it's available on Kindle Unlimited. Then I have Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton. I heard that you don't have to, but you could read this before Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton, which I'm very interested in getting to the cat and mouse duet. But apparently the scenes in Satan's Affair are alluded to or talked about in Haunting Adeline. So I wanted to read this first. And it is on Goodreads as a prequel, 0.5, and it is about, you know, something spooky about Halloween, dark, with violence, triggering situations, and the cover looks truly terrifying with a skull and a circus. I'm intrigued, and it's less than 200 pages as well. So if you can't tell, I'm loving the shorter, like novella length content on Kindle Unlimited as well, and I just find I read Kindle books way faster than physical books because I almost feel like it's a race to turn the pages as fast as possible. Next I have Broken Bonds by MCBRIDE. This is the start of a paranormal reverse harem romance fantasy series, and in this world you have bonded mates, but a female could have multiple male bonds, and I don't know if our main character like escapes and runs away or is taken away from her 6 bonded mates, but somehow she gets returned back to them and they are very angry. And I heard this does have some darker content. I am very excited to read this series. I've heard a lot of great things until recently. The romance booktube girlies that I like watching, like Sam Reads a Little, Jess from Peace Love Books, Tori from Novel Life, like that group of people, but we're doing a read along for the series, 1 book each week, and they stopped because they weren't enjoying it. But I've seen a lot of other people really do enjoy it, so I want to find out where I will fall. I love fantasy romance. I next have Let It Snow by Beth Moran. This is obviously a Christmassy vibe, winter type romance. After the end of a long-term relationship, local weather girl B. Armstrong has been avoiding her family and their inevitable I told you so's. But with Christmas fast approaching, she is finally on her way to Cheris House, the school in Sherwood Forest that her mom and dad run in their old family home. And to top it all off, the insufferable Henry Fairfax, who is her who her parents have always wanted her to marry, has also been invited. I think there's going to be some angst in here because also towards the bottom of the synopsis it says, Henry turns out to be nothing like she thought, and when Bee's first love and her recent ex shows up, Bee has a difficult choice to make. Ooh, drama at Christmas time. That sounds really fun. The reason I have this out from Kindle Unlimited is it is Samantha March's book club pick for November and December, so I want to read it. And also I have another Christmassy romance on here that I'm excited about as well. I have Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, the first in the War of Lost Hearts series. This is another Rachel from Raven-Haired Reader made me get it. And this is giving me Throne of Glass vibes. We have our main character who has been in slavery and escapes slavery somehow and is training to exact revenge. This is a fantasy romance. This is slow burn and I am so ready for it. I have The Blood is Love by KARINA HALLE. This is the second book in the Dark Eyes duet. I read Black Sunshine in October. This is a paranormal vampire romance. I didn't love Black Sunshine, but The Blood is Love is crossing a duology off of my list, and I didn't hate it enough to like DNF this series, and it's much shorter than the first book, so I'm excited to get to it. I also have Love Light Farms by B.K. Borson. This is another holiday Christmassy romance. This sounds like it has some humor involved, which I'm very excited about, and is best friends to lovers, I believe. And this is the start of a romance series. I wonder if they're all Christmassy. Well, the covers don't really look like it, so hopefully not, but I am excited to give this a try. I saw really good reviews about this on Instagram. I have Broken by Hannah McBride, which is the novella following Rhodes after Sanctum, which is the first book in the Blackwater Pack series, a paranormal romance, shifter romance. I read Sanctum in October and really loved it, so I'm excited to continue the series and learn more about Rhodes before hopping into the official book 2. I have Glow by Raven Kennedy, the 4th book and the last one that's out. This is a 5-book series. This is a fantasy romance King Midas retelling, and I've really been loving this series. The books get bigger and bigger, so it's quite the commitment going into this 4th book. I'm not sure when I will actually have a chance to read this, but I'm really interested in seeing where the story goes after the ending we got in Gleam, which I read in October as well. Next I have 2 small town romances, and then we're done for sure. I have Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is a single dad cowboy romance, and apparently he has a dirty, filthy mouth, and it is very spicy, and people have been loving this. This is also the first book in a series. And then I have A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. Candy Steiner is an author I would like to explore, I guess. And this sounds like a second chance romance, which I feel like I haven't read a lot from, and I don't know how much I will root for a second chance romance, because generally I feel like if things ended badly then maybe they should stay ended, but we will see if Candy Steiner can change my mind. I'm sorry that this was so rambly and so long. That was not my intention at all. Hopefully editing me can cut this down a little bit, but I am very excited for all 20 of these books. I have a wide variety both in length. Some of these are 150 pages, some of them are 800 pages, and also just paranormal romance, small town romance, fantasy romance, like just so much is available on here. There's also on my list of 300 books on Kindle Unlimited that I would like to get to. There are some like epic fantasies on here by indie authors I'm very excited about, but right now my current mood is fantasy romance, small town romance, very spicy things. That's what I want to be reading on Kindle Unlimited right now, but no matter the genre that you like to read, I'm sure there is something on there for you. I know that there's a lot of horror novellas or horror books on Kindle Unlimited that people were raving about over the last, month or so when we were in spooky season. People were talking about them a lot. epic adult fantasy, fantasy romance, contemporary romance is really hot on Kindle Unlimited right now. So I just feel like if you don't like the books that I like necessarily, then maybe there is something on there for you. I personally think, so I'm Canadian and I pay like $11.50 a month, I think, for Kindle Unlimited. And it's like unlimited reading. You can check out 20 books at a time, but I mean, you can read one, return it, and get it out again. Like, I think 20 books is really generous considering how many of us are reading through the 20 books we have downloaded before we are hooked up to Wi-Fi again, where we can switch them out, if that makes any sense. Though I will say, this Kindle saved me when I was without power for so long after Hurricane Fiona, because I had a bunch of books downloaded, ready to go, and you only need internet to actually download the book. And the battery on this thing lasts forever. But I'm sure if you're watching this video, you already have a Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, so I'm preaching to the choir. You know how awesome the Kindle is. Here I am, still rambling. That is my favorite thing to do, apparently. Let me know if you have any Kindle Unlimited or recommendations. What's your favorite book on there? I will add it to my list of over 300 and get to it someday. Do any of these books I chatted about today sound good to you? Let me know if you enjoy this type of content by giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!